so excited. We have been focusing on the Design Your Jeep Build program from LadyJeepers.com with spring weather. First day of spring is the 20th of this month. We're almost there. Woohoo! So excited. So it's spring right around the corner. I figured it was time to dive in and start talking about getting out there on the trail, the adventures that we're going to have so that everyone is ready for the spring weather. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in. We're going to get started for today. And it is time to enjoy a little bit of a Jeep break today together. So have you ever thought, I want to feel safe and enjoy my Jeep for what it was built for? If you have, you are not alone. There are a lot of misconceptions about how you can safely and responsibly enjoy your Jeep. Some people think that you must modify your Jeep in order to have fun with it. Nope, that is not correct. Right off the lot, the Jeep is capable and ready to take you on adventures. That is what is so neat about the Jeep. Yes, you can modify it, you can build it, you can fine tune it for you and what you're going to be doing with your Jeep and where in the country you live, and just make it your own so that you can go on different adventures, more specific. When you know this is what I want to be doing with my Jeep. I want to rock crawl. I want to do sand dunes. I want to go to the beach. I want to go to the mountains, whatever it may be. But what is so amazing is you can drive off the lot and straight to an adventure. That is the truth. You don't have to modify and make all these changes to your Jeep right away to be able to get out there and enjoy it. That, I feel like, is what makes the freedom and the adventure and the lifestyle of owning a Jeep. But don't worry, I got you. So if you've been thinking, I'm not enjoying my Jeep for what it was built for, am I the only one who is worried or concerned or doesn't know where to start when it comes to getting out there to enjoy my Jeep? Don't worry, I got you. We're going to jump in today to get started. Today, we're going to be focusing on how to enjoy your Jeep safely and responsibly. This is our first kickoff to get ready for spring weather, right around the corner, getting out there, planning adventures, making new memories, the freedom, getting away, finding places that you could never get to unless you were behind the wheel of your Jeep. That is what we're going to be focusing on going forward for this spring weather. So today in this class, we're going to go through 4 tips to safely and responsibly enjoy every moment of your next Jeep adventure. So if you are on here and you're looking for a safe and responsible way to enjoy your Jeep on the trails, give me a #me. So I know that you are here, you're looking for a way to build safety and responsibility as you get out there and enjoy your Jeep. So if you are new on here, hello, I am Kristen DeLibra from LadyJeepers.com. We help Lady Jeepers, so women who own Jeeps, to safely enjoy their Jeeps on the trail and to customize and design their Jeeps so that they can confidently create a life of adventure without fear. We do this using our Confident Trail System courses, our university, in-person events, private consult, and our private concierge services. We got you covered on every aspect of everything. So we're going to jump into how to enjoy your Jeep safely and responsibly. I love seeing all the me's. I had to jump over. Oh, I love it. Me. Love it. We got Christine from Massachusetts, Jody from Dallas. Ooh, a beautiful day in Texas. That is awesome, Sue. Oh, first timer, Kathy. Hello, welcome. I love that you have made it on here and jumped on with us today. So excited. Welcome. From Florida. Woohoo! We have an amazing Lady Jeepers of Florida group. If you're not already a part of the group, I'm sure you are. Bonnie is fantastic. And we have added Janine and Sunshine, and we have Nancy. There are some amazing ladies down there in Florida. So if you're in Florida, you definitely have got a great group down there. Renee is on here from New York. She's our amazing New York rep. We have great groups everywhere, ladies. We are so blessed, so lucky. Hello, Cindy. And again, I love seeing all these hashtag me. Woohoo, love it. All right. So as we are jumping in this today, let's be real. When you finally buy your dream Jeep and want to take it everywhere and enjoy every feature in your Jeep, right? You maybe have waited. Maybe you have shopped for a long time. Maybe it took you a while to get your dream Jeep. Maybe you had to search and go to dealerships or wait for the right one to pop on and be able to grab it. But let's be real. When you do finally buy that dream Jeep, you want to go out and enjoy everything. You want to enjoy what this Jeep was built for. You want to enjoy whatever features you have available in that Jeep, whether it be the 4-wheel drive, 4-low, getting out there, going on an adventure, finding a waterfall you would never find unless you were in a Jeep to be able to take you there. Maybe it's an amazing excursion, a trip that you're going to take and enjoy absolutely every part of nature along the way. It doesn't matter what that is. That is why you have a Jeep. But before you do go out there and start those amazing adventures, make sure that you are following these basic guidelines for a safer and more enjoyable ride. So our number one tip is your safety. Safety first. And your safety is one of the most important things. Always wear your seatbelt. I know you might be like, oh, but I'm not a seatbelt wearer, but when I'm out on the trail or I'm going slow, it does not matter. Accidents can happen at any speed, in any location, doing anything. So always wear your seatbelt. If you have aftermarket harnesses, actually, I had a great conversation about this past weekend at the event we were at. I have a 5-point harness. And yeah, sometimes people are like, well, I don't want to put the full harness on, because with the 5-point harness, I have the strap that goes over my waist. And then I have 2 straps that come down to make my harness. And I have one that goes between my legs. But so, I have the bottom lap belt, and then I have these 2 straps that come over to create the full harness. And we had this conversation. I said, but you don't have to cinch it tight, right? Go ahead and put your harness on. Make sure your lap belt is tight. Leave the top part of your harness loose, but make sure it's hooked, because then if you're going down a trail and you hit a bad spot or somewhere you're like, ugh, that's going to be a little challenging. It is so easy to reach up and cinch down those harnesses, and then you can continue driving. If you have a factory seatbelt, always put your seatbelt on. I know sometimes, especially if we're out on the trail, we're going to be getting in and out. Doesn't matter. Safety first. Things can happen. You need to be safe and take care of you first. Always wear your seatbelt. If you don't love the stock seatbelt, the factory seatbelt that comes in your Jeep, there are aftermarket modifications that you can make where you can actually get a bar that runs in the back with an aftermarket cage so that you can just use harnesses when you're off-road, still have your lap belt while you are on road, or you can remove it altogether. Doesn't matter what you have, wear it. I wear it. I wear it in all my Jeeps, my JKU, my big trail Jeep. I wear the full harness in my husband's CJ. Doesn't matter what I am in, I always put a seatbelt on. And that is something you need to really think about as well. That just little thing can make such a difference. Anytime you're going to head out on the trail, safety for you, make sure that you have a cooler, make sure you have water in there, drinks, snacks, some food. You never know how long you're going to be out on a trail ride. And you always want to make sure to prepare kind of for the worst case scenario, which would be if somebody broke, if somebody got stuck, if something happened while you were out there, you have enough snacks, food, and water to go ahead and get through comfortably while you're out on the trail. I always overpack the amount of waters that I bring with me and the amount of snacks that I bring with me, Normally I bring back almost everything I packed, but I know I have it if something were to happen and we were stranded out there for a while. Another thing for your safety, make sure that you have a first aid kit in your Jeep. This is for while you're going out on the trail, but this is something I recommend having in your Jeep, even when you're daily driving. If you never go out on a trail, this is something that make sure you just find a great storage place for it. And it is always in your Jeep. It doesn't have to be a huge, big, like backpack survival first aid kit, unless you're going to be out overlanding. So depending on the length of time you're going to be out on a trail ride and what type of terrain you're going to be out on, that is going to determine what size first aid kit you're going to want to have in your Jeep. As a general rule of thumb, always have at least a starter first aid kit in your Jeep somewhere, especially before you ever go out on a trail ride. And it works great. I was a soccer mom, and I remember soccer practice, one of the girls got hurt and I was like, I have, a first aid kit right in here, pull it out. There you go. So sometimes it comes in handy, even when you're not out on the trail. Another thing I recommend, carry a fire extinguisher with you, at least one, if not a couple fire extinguishers inside your vehicle. Again, this is for trail riding and it's safety for you, but also even for your on-road. I always recommend if you own a Jeep, you have at least one fire extinguisher inside your vehicle. Depending on where you go, if you go to an organized event, and organized trail rides, some of those events require, and they will do a check to make sure that you do have your first aid kit and your fire extinguisher inside your vehicle with you. Let's be honest, a fire extinguisher is probably not going to put the entire fire out if something were to happen. The fire extinguisher, at least one, needs to be mounted somewhere where the driver can access it. So if you're out on a trail, and you're trail riding, something happens, the driver needs to be able to reach the fire extinguisher to be able to at least clear enough of the fire to get out of the vehicle safely. Then you can assess where the fire is coming from and how to address the fire itself. But number one, the fire extinguishers for your safety to get you outside of the vehicle. That is top priority. That is the number one reason and purpose of the fire extinguisher. This is fire aid. This happens to be one of my favorite fire extinguishers, and it is for automotive and boat. What I like about this is they're easy to store. They are a different chemical makeup than some of the lesser expensive fire extinguishers that you can grab like at Walmart, because you want to make sure that it is for boat or automotive. When you get your fire extinguisher, the fire aids, very easy to store, very easy to use. You still want to make sure you keep the fire extinguisher shook up. So at least once a month, you need to go out there, shake up your fire extinguisher, and check the dates on them. You always want to make sure that your fire extinguisher is in date so that if you ever need it, you know it's going to work. Another thought process on the fire extinguisher, you want to have one in your vehicle in case something happens to someone else on the trail ride with you. A lot of times, our fire extinguishers are used on someone else's vehicle. If there's a fire, you grab your fire extinguisher, you jump out of your vehicle, and you run up to that vehicle to help that person. So a lot of times your fire extinguisher is going to be used for someone else. So you want to make sure that they're going to be in date. You keep them shook up. You mount them. You don't want these rolling around your vehicle. There are multiple different mounts. I actually have a metal quick release mount in my big Jeep. And I just have one of the Bartac fire extinguisher, like the Velcro that mounts to your roll bar in my JKU. So there's lots of different options. If you want to do like the Velcro mount so you can move it around, or if you want to do a permanent mount, totally up to you. But make sure before you head out on a trail, grab yourself a fire extinguisher. Again, I recommend the fire aid. Make sure it is for automotive or marine use. Jody, yes. So the fire aid, you're not going to have to service like you would a different one. And they're amazing. Knock on wood, I haven't had to use one yet because we did have 2 previous fire extinguishers fail on us. That's why we now go with the fire aid brand, and they were in date. We keep up with our fire extinguishers, and there was a fire in a vehicle in front of us on a trail ride. One of our friends ended up having to use the cooler to finally get the fire put out because the fire extinguishers failed. So fire aid, yes, Jody, I think those are a great one to look at. They're not super expensive, and they're going to last forever. Yes, Jody, I like it small, so it's easy to handle, easy to store. I will share the actual photo of I have a permanent mounted metal quick release fire extinguisher, and it is made specifically for that fire aid. So I will go ahead and make sure that I share a picture of that as well. That way you can take a look at it and see it. So you have to order it online, Bonnie, directly from Fire Aid is where I got mine. Go ahead. If you Google search fire aid, fire extinguishers, they're going to come up, and you can order directly from them. And they have different sizes available and different options as well. And you can also get mounts from them. And they will work with the bar tack Velcro mounts that go around your roll bar that are specifically made for fire extinguishers. They will fit in there. Again, for my big Jeep, I did the metal permanent mounted quick release one. So basically it's mounted and all I have to do is pull like 2 knobs and then it'll come off. So I will go ahead and share that and put it up here. So keep an eye on the page. I will share that this week as well. So you can see where it's mounted, how I pull it off. I will show you all of that as well. I'll upload it as a video. All right. So next thing, when we are talking about your safety, make sure people know where you are, where you're going, and what your plans are. So they know if it's a day trail ride, they know where you're starting, where you're going to be riding, where you think you're going to come out, and the expected length of time. Make sure people know. Of course, you should never trail ride alone. You always want to go with another vehicle with you, at least one other vehicle. There's a lot of reasons for that. One, if you were to get stuck, yes, if you have a winch, you can recover yourself. But if something were to break, it is nice to have another vehicle out there for safety. That way you're not stranded by yourself. And another thing for safety reasons, if anything were to ever happen, that was a medical emergency, you do not want to be out there by yourself alone. So that someone is there to help get you to safety if something were to happen. So don't ever go out alone. I know sometimes we just want to get away. We don't want to have to worry about things. But going out on a trail alone can open up for safety risks as well. And even if you're going with a group, make sure someone who is not there on that trail ride with you, whether it be a family member, a friend, they know like, hey, I'm going to be going on this trail ride. We're going to meet up Friday in the morning. We're planning on trail riding this specific trail system, and I'm planning to be back home by Friday night. That way, if something happens, one, they know when to expect you, and we'll start to know like if you don't come back in time, and they'll have a general idea and vicinity of where you are going to be. So always tell someone where you're going to be. All right. This to me is probably one of the most important of all of these tips that I can give you. Of course, your personal safety is number one. That's why it's tip number one. But this tip to me is what is going to make or break a trail ride, make it a good experience, awesome trail ride, or like, oh my gosh, I wish I hadn't done that. So tip number 2, know where you are going and who you are going with. Super important. Know what trails you're going on, what park you're going to. Know what the levels are like there. What are the trails like? What is the terrain like? make sure to do some of your own research and get your own answers, and don't just rely on someone else and their opinion, because we're all different. We all find different terrain easy or hard. We find different terrain and different trail levels, like, oh no, that one's easy, anybody can do it. Or we might look at it and be like, oh my gosh, that is way over my head. So make sure that you don't just rely on one person and one opinion. Do some research for yourself, understand what is that park level like that you're going to, or that trail system. What is the terrain like? And know who you're going with. And when I say know who you're going with, what speed do they want to be driving? How fast do they want to cover ground? What trail levels are they the most comfortable running? How much do they care about their Jeep? Does it matter to them if it gets damaged, body damage, if it breaks, they have to fix it? Do they have to drive it home? Those are things to really think about before you just head out on the trail. So before you set out on a trip in your Jeep, especially if you're going to be driving a distance, make sure you know where you're going, who you're going with, and this is going to help to keep you safe and ensure a good time for everyone and keep your Jeep safe. Okay, quick story. Perfect example. We were at a benefit event last weekend. Oh, it was amazing. I loved it. But we led the ladies' ride. It had iced, it had snowed, it was muddy. Those ladies were amazing. They earned that trail ride. We were at a park that I tell all of our ladies is not a beginner-friendly park. It is an intermediate or advanced park. And the reason being, even just the main trail in to get to the other trails at this park can be difficult and ruts. And it to me is not a beginner park for a stock vehicle and someone just learning. There are a lot of people who are going to disagree that I just said this about this park, but I'm being honest, because I feel like there are other places that serve that purpose much better, that are going to keep your Jeep a little safer. So I rate things a little differently than some other people. So I'm honest and say that's an intermediate advanced park. It can be hard. It can be tough. They are not easy trails. And I also rate it that you have to have a 33-inch tire to go on my trail ride at that park. So we did our ladies ride. We had to spot, we had to help. They earned every part of that trail that they went on. We came back down, we went to lunch, we came back, and one of the ladies from the trail ride came up to me and was like, are you going to lead any more trails? Are you doing any more guided rides? It's like, oh, not at this event. We just do the one in the morning, because it's a big benefit. So they have things planned for the event in the evening. And she was like, well, I was hoping you would do some more, because after the ladies ride, we went out with a different group and my friend bashed out the tail light and damaged the corner on their Jeep. And I don't want to go out with anybody else. So that's a perfect example of there's a difference in driving style. There's a difference in experience. There's a difference in skill level. There's a difference in who is leading and tail gunning and who is responsible on your trail ride. So just know, like, are they going to go slow? Are they careful? Do they care if they get damaged? Do they care if they hurt their Jeep or my Jeep? Those are things that are really important to know, because not all trail rides and all groups are created the same. I know I hound this a lot, but as you are learning and starting out, I feel like this is crucially important. Now, once you have more experience, you're at a higher level, you feel pretty confident. You still don't want to end up out there with a group that does not fit your driving style and the way you want to be trail riding. But once you have that experience, it is a little bit easier to say like, not for me. I'm not doing that trail, or do it in a way that is safe for you and your Jeep. So do keep that in mind as you are getting ready to head out for the spring and summer trails. So know what trail levels, terrain type is going to be on this ride. Is it going to be national forest? Is it going to be just nice and easy? Is it going to be rocks? Is it going to be hills? Is it going to be deep sand? Is it going to be mud? Know what you are going to be going into before you ever get there. And to me, one of the most important things, who is in charge or putting this together? So who is going to be in charge, handle a situation if something goes wrong, if somebody needs help, whatever that might be? Who is the one who's ultimately mapping the trails out, knows what levels they're going to be? Figure out who that is, and that is who you want to ask your questions to before you head out down the trail. Now, what is the estimated time for the trail? You want to know, like, is it going to be a couple hour, a half day, a full day, an excursion, overlanding trip? So you're going to be out for multiple days. Definitely ask up front, but always remember there is no guarantee on the length of a trail ride. Once you have left and started out on that trail ride and you have committed, it could be a couple hours, could be half a day, a full day, it could turn into overnight. You never know. You can go out with an estimate, but just remember things can happen. Vehicles can break, people can get stuck. A 2-hour trail ride can turn into an 8-hour trail ride. You never know. So always be prepared and understand that before you ever head out. That way you're not out there frustrated. Like, well, I thought this was supposed to be 2 hours and I was planning to be back at 2 o'clock because I need to be somewhere at 4. That's not going to work when you start thinking about heading out on a trail ride in your Jeep. So just be aware of that. Number 3 tip, have safety equipment with you. So yes, we just went over some basic safety equipment, but here are some other things, especially if you're going to head out on the trail, that you want to make sure that you have in your vehicle. So of course you want your first aid kit, fire extinguisher. Make sure you have a flashlight with some extra batteries, recovery gear, and the level of the trail is going to dictate the equipment that you should have. So the level of the trail will determine how much recovery gear and what type of recovery gear you're going to need for your vehicle. Make sure that you have a radio or a CB. And those are kind of just the things to get you started. Of course, there's so much more you can add into there. And the more that you go out there, the more you're going to add in. So this is kind of your basic overview to get you started. Now, when we're talking about safety equipment and recovery equipment for your Jeep, you want to make sure, whether you have a winch or not, that you have a recovery strap, D-rings, a tree saver, and gloves in your vehicle. I recommend that you have a recovery strap, a D-ring, a tree saver, a snatch block, a line damper, gloves, and a soft shackle. So as you're getting started, to me, this is your overview of the safety and recovery equipment that you need in your vehicle if you're going to be trail riding, because you want to be able to get yourself out. And you may say, well, I don't have a winch. I don't need all those things. If you don't have a winch, make sure that you still have the equipment that is going to be needed to be able to get your Jeep out of a situation if you were to get stuck. We do not want to rely on the other vehicles on the trail ride to have recovery straps, D-rings, soft shackles, tree savers, all the things that we would need to be able to get ourselves out of a situation. We want to make sure that we are self-sufficient. We have the things that we need to take care of us and our Jeep. So if anything were to ever happen, you know that you can recover your Jeep. Tip 4, this is really important, to follow trail etiquette. This really is important because we are trying to go out and have adventures, get to go places we would never get to go if we didn't have our Jeep. And in order to maintain and keep those places open and available for all of us, we have to follow the trail etiquette to keep these places open, because we don't want them shut down. We want to be able to continue to take adventures, keep building out our bucket list of the places we want to go and the places we want to explore. So while you are out there, please keep in mind that keeping these trails open, respecting where we are at, is so important. So here's a few things to keep in mind when we're talking about trail etiquette. 1, always stay on the trails. So if you are somewhere, it doesn't matter if it's a national forest, if it's a state forest service road, if you're in an off-road park, you still want to stay on the marked trails. You don't want to be cutting your own trails in. That will damage the area. And depending on, even at off-road parks, I've heard people say, well, this is an off-road park and I pay to come ride here. But even the off-road parks have to maintain and keep up with these trails. We like to go to parks that are marked. They're easy to navigate the trails. You know what trail you're on. It's easy to find your way around. So if you are going off the trail and cutting other trails and go arounds and different things in that aren't supposed to be there, that is more work for the park to try to keep up with that. Some park owners don't want you to damage their land either. And then you end up with parks that aren't marked really great because there's all these trails that keep getting cut in that aren't supposed to be there. Even off-road parks will close down because of damage that is done to their property. So just keep that in mind. Always stay on the trails. Never drive your Jeep off-road unless you are authorized to do so that you have the correct passes or permits for the area that you're in, and make sure that you have a map and understanding of where you are and are not allowed to go. I know, sounds like a little more homework that we have to do to be responsible before we go out on our trail rides and enjoy what we're doing. And that is true. This is, another step we need to take to be responsible is to make sure that we have the correct pass for where we're going to be going to ride, and that we understand and either have a map or understand the markers and the signs that will be on those trails so that we can do our part, so that we don't go off the trails and we don't damage anything, because that's so important. That is how we all work together to keep these trails open. So do a little bit of that homework before you just show up to meet a group to go ride. Know if you need passes. Make sure you have them and understand, like, are there wetland areas? Is it multi-use property? So are there going to be signs where Jeeps are allowed in certain trails, but not other trails? Are there going to be dirt bikes, horses? Are there going to be other things out on the trail with you? So be aware and understand where it is that you are driving. And the biggest thing, and I know you ladies are amazing, this goes without saying, but respect the rights of other drivers and the property itself. So we don't want to go out there. Yes, we want to have fun, right? We want to make this adventure. It wants to be fun. We want to push ourselves. We want to enjoy our Jeep. But we don't ever want to do so at the detriment of anyone else who is out there enjoying those same trails, or to the property itself and anyone who actually owns that property. And if it's Forest Service or a national forest, that's all of us, right? We all want to enjoy that. So if somebody goes out there and goes around a closed gate and tears something up and gets all that shut down for all of us, that affects all of us. So just keep that in mind as you are out there enjoying your Jeep. And the biggest thing, and I know I do not have to say this to you ladies, because you ladies are amazing, but always make sure that you bring your trash out with you. No trash. Don't leave trash out on a trail. Don't leave trash out in a forest. Make sure that you haul out what you bring in. So never leave trash or items on the trail. Whatever you bring in with you, make sure that you have a trail sack that you can put garbage in, or a garbage bag, or put the empty water bottles back in your cooler, whatever it may be. Always make sure that you bring everything out with you that you bring in. And this goes for everywhere. This goes for, state parks, national forests. It goes for DNR. It goes for parks. It doesn't matter. Wherever you go to, make sure that you are bringing all of your garbage back out with you, and that you're not leaving anything behind. That is one of the biggest pieces to keeping all of our trails open, is we have to help put in the time and the effort and the cognizance of making sure we keep everything as good as when we found it. So this is just the beginning to help get you started. It is our first class of getting close to spring. Like I said, spring is the 20th. I'm going to celebrate. I'm going to do a big celebration on March 20th because it's going to be spring. First day of spring. Woohoo, woohoo. So this is just the beginning to get you started. It is our beginning to get started. We're going to be focusing on what you need to know to get out there, have those adventures, enjoy the trails, do so safely for yourself and your Jeep. So you're going to notice our Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time lives are going to be focused on getting out there, trail riding, what you need to know, safety. So keep an eye out. We have a whole series coming. We're now moving into trail riding, driving tips, all of those amazing things to get you out on the trail safely. So I know I asked last week, but I wanted to throw this out to you ladies. What if I put together a Saturday one-day workshop where we can dive into a step-by-step process to take you safely and confidently out on the trail? Would you want to jump on? Would that sound like something you would love to do? So I did it. I know I put it out last week, so I put it all together. So excited. We're going to be doing the Ladies Jeeping in a Weekend one-day workshop. So if you would like to join me for that, let me know with a hashtag me, and I'm going to get you the information on how to get your seat. It is free, of course. And we're going to jump on together. We're going to work through the most important things that you need to know as you get out there. The hows, the whys, the wins. We're going to go over a pre-ride checklist. We're going to go over disconnecting sway bars, airing down tires, recovery. We're going to go over the most important things that you need to know before you get out there, so that my goal is when you pull up at a trail ride, no matter where it is or who it's with, you pull up, you jump out, you know exactly what you need to do, how you need to do it, and when you need to do it. Jump out, air your tires down. You know what PSI to put them at. Disconnect your sway bar. Make sure your recovery gear is going to be easily accessible, and you are confident that you can take care of you and be self-sufficient. That is the most important thing to me to bring forward to you. So just let me know, and I will go ahead and send you a message. So check your inbox, your Facebook Messenger inbox. I will send you a message. Like I said, it's free. You can jump over, grab your seat. It is going to be Saturday, April 2nd at 11:30 a.m. That is Eastern time. So we are going to go ahead. I tried to do 11:30 so that all the different time zones could hopefully make it on there. And here's the great thing. If for some reason you can't make it and actually jump on live with me for Saturday, April 2nd at 11:30 a.m., you will get the replay sent to you and have access to watch everything and get caught up. You get lifetime access. You can watch it as many times as you want to, go back through things. So even if you're not sure if you can make it, jump in and grab your seat, because once you're registered, if you can't make it, you will get that replay emailed directly to you. So you have access to everything. So excited. This is one of my favorite workshops and programs. So I wanted to make sure I'm adding some different things in. So if you have been on our Ladies Jeeping in a Weekend workshop before, I'm incorporating some new things in here. So I'm excited for that. I'm going to see what you ladies think once we get through. So I can't wait to jump on with you. Woohoo! All right. So Jeeps are a lot of fun, but if you're not careful, you can easily get into trouble. We want you to have a lot of fun, but it's important to do so safely and responsibly. So really quickly, in a nutshell, I want to do a quick overview of everything that we covered today in the 4 tips to safely and responsibly enjoy every moment of your Jeep adventure. So, of course, the most important tip number 1 is your safety. You have to put the safety of yourself above everything else, and that comes first. So always make sure that You are following the rules, wearing your seatbelt, make sure that you have a first aid kit, fire extinguisher, the things that you need inside your vehicle for you. And also remember, your safety comes first. If you're put in a situation behind the wheel that you are not comfortable, you have every right to say, like, I'm not doing this. I don't feel comfortable. So just remember that you have to put your safety first, and you can judge that far more than anyone else. So just remember that you come first. Number one tip, number one rule, you are the most important thing. Number two, know where you are going and who you are going with. Do some research ahead of time. Understand what terrain you're going to be driving on, what level of trails, who's going to be there, their driving style, their expectations, what level of trails they want to do, so that you know. 3, have the safety equipment for you. So make sure that you have the safety equipment you would need to recover your Jeep. So of course, that is going to be, make sure that you have a recovery strap. Make sure you have D-rings, soft shackle. Make sure you have a tree saver. If you have a winch, you want to make sure you have a full winch and recovery bag. So you have a snatch block, you have a line damper, gloves, all the things that are going to be important so that you know you are self-sufficient and can recover yourself. And of course, tip number 4, always follow trail etiquette. We want to be able to have adventures for a lifetime. We want to be able to take our kids and our grandkids on these amazing adventures that they can only go on when they're in a Jeep. Create memories that will last forever. And the only way for us to get to ensure that we're going to be able to bring that forward to the generations behind us is to make sure that we do our part. Biggest thing, stay on the trail. Don't cut off the trails. Don't make your own trails. Make sure that you are allowed to be where you are and you have the correct passes. Make sure that you never leave trash behind. Always carry your trash out. Whatever you bring in with you, bring it back out with you, so that we're all doing our part, so that we will have these adventures and these opportunities that we are so lucky to have because we have Jeeps, right? There are times I'm like, you only get to experience some of these amazing things because of the amazing vehicles we have. So I want to make sure that those are still accessible and available for 50 years from now, so that everyone gets to have this experience, and gets out there and gets to enjoy nature. And we don't see that quite as much anymore. I feel like it's so important, that we keep pushing that, the younger ones still get out there and get to see what it's like to be out in the woods and out in nature and having a great time and, seeing things that you're only going to be able to experience in person. So we have to do our part. And we have to follow trail etiquette every time we're out there. And you can tell other people and remind them too, not to leave trash or to drive off the trail. All right. So these are 4 tips and the first steps to getting out there while enjoying your Jeep safely and responsibly. Of course, there's a lot more, but these are going to be those first 4 tips that are going to help you, so that if you are just itching with spring coming, you want to get out there, follow these 4 tips, and that's going to help to set you up and get you started. Of course, there's more I'm going to be sharing with you. So don't forget, you're invited for a 1-day Ladies Jeeping in a Weekend workshop. Drop me. I'm going to make sure that you get the link and you can grab your seat. Remember, it's completely free, and we're going to spend the time working through what you need to know next together. And of course, like I said, we are jumping into spring. We're driving into spring, into Jeep weather, the opportunity to get out there and do more. So don't forget, mark your calendar, set a reminder on your phone every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here live. We are going to be doing a cup of coffee with Kristen and talking Jeeps. You may have noticed today I did not have my cup of coffee. Trying to be a little healthier, drink a little more water. So it's either going to be a cup of coffee with Kristen and talking Jeeps, or a bottle of water with Kristen and talking Jeeps. So I'm going to switch it up on you. Some days it'll be coffee, some days it'll be water, but don't forget to go ahead and mark your calendar so that you can jump on here with me and you don't miss anything, because we have so much more that we're going to be sharing coming up with all these tips, all this education information to get you safely out on the trail, because I am bringing forward Jeep education and knowledge to you to help make sure that you are confident in every aspect of your Jeep journey. That's what is important to me. So thank you for jumping on here today and going through all of this with me. I'm glad I was able to share these first 4 tips. I hope you are as excited as I am about the first day of spring. I might do a first day of spring party. We'll see. Maybe it'll be like a celebration party. We'll do something fun for the first day of spring to celebrate the Jeep weather's right around the corner. I know I am so ready. I am just itching to get out there, enjoy my Jeep, take some adventures. So hopefully I will get to see you on an adventure really soon. And I hope to see you on our one-day workshop as well. I see so many me's in the comment. Woo, I love it. We will make sure that we get you the link right away so you can grab your seat, check your messenger inbox to see if it has already been delivered to you. My amazing Francis, who works for LadyJeepers.com, has been helping. So we are getting on the ball on everything. We have some new great things coming up for you amazing ladies. And I just want to say thank you for spending some time with me, being here and a part of LadyJeepers.com. And I know I will see you out on the trail and on our next live as we build education, knowledge, and confidence together. So have a fantastic Wednesday. And I can't wait to see you again. So thank you so much. And I will see you ladies again. Bye, everybody.